if I traded it.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Wow, what great weather we're having, and it's a perfect time to be networking with everybody out there. So I'm going to go in right away with my first guest, but we are live on Facebook, so I want to say hi to everybody out there. So like us and follow us after with the show. I'm going to be sharing it, and everybody can see us in there and what we do here. My first guest has been with me now several times. I know he's going to have his own radio show soon. At one point or another, I have with me Michael Weinberg. He's the owner of Exceptional Engineering Home Inspections. You also have someone with you here special that you want to have talk about something interesting today, which is Matthew Rioltz, and he's a certified, and I'm going to say it, I hope I say it right, entomologist and the owner of Bug Warrior. Guess what? We're going to be talking a little bit about bugs today, better known as Sergeant SWAT. Welcome to the show. Tell everybody a little bit about yourselves and what you do.
Well, as your loyal listeners will know, thank you for having me back. They'll know me as Michael, the home inspector and engineer. And I brought with me someone, an interesting and important part of the real estate transaction is the termite inspection. I've always mentioned to you that I'm a one-stop shop, whether it's engineering or home inspection. Well, I do the termite inspection as well. And so I bring with me today an expert like myself, and that's Matt, and he is the owner of Bug Warrior, and he's an entomologist, and I surround myself with professional because I am a professional.
That's awesome. I love that. And I want to make it clear, too, that what, with you, of the kind of homes you work with, and, but here what you're talking about today is really more education for people to understand how important it is, number one, to find out if you have termites, right? Mm-hmm. And number two, how important it is to use someone like you. Go ahead.
Yes, for sure. A couple of parts for the real estate transaction. It's important to have the termite inspection so that you know, eyes wide open. You've heard me say that before, going in. And then also, is there any structural damage if there are termites? And then how do we fix that? So that's the important key to that.
Okay, so I got to ask you, Sergeant SWAT, okay?
Yes.
I want to ask you, what is an entomologist, first of all?
Well, an entomologist is a certification that we get national recognition as being an expert in our field.
Okay, and so when you do these inspections, how does it work when you go in? Are you valley-wide? Do you work with Michael? Does you come in first, Michael? How does the transaction work?
I am the inspector, so I'm observing, trying to see if there are termites, and once we do, depending on what we find, that's when Matt comes in to help qualify or lend his expertise to that to distinguish us.
So let me ask you this, and I'm serious. I would think for sure this answer is yes, but I might be wrong. Unless they've had them inspected recently, do all homes, in Arizona have termites?
The famous catchphrase, it's not if, but when you will get termites in Arizona.
So if and when.
Almost all.
Almost all. Yeah. And how do you know? I mean, we were doing your ad, and I hope it's airing. I'm going to check and see, but, the one that had the chomping
of the termites chomping.
Yeah.
Yes.
How does that, how do you know if you have termites?
There's many, many telltale signs, whether they're visual, there's damage that can occur, and then all sorts of other telltale signs related to the structural items, engineering-wise, that will lend itself to telling if you do have termites and the extent to which any damage has occurred.
So let's say a home has termites, okay?
Many different varieties, too.
Really? Mm-hmm. Let's talk about them. Oh, my God. Can I open up the lines to the audience for people that might have a question about their homes and termites? Do you mind?
Would love it.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to open up the lines here to the audience for everybody to be able to ask, if you got a home, how long have you been living in it? And if you maybe even think you might have termites, are you hearing any chomping? Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. So, let's say a home does, and they've had it maybe for a long time, they have a serious problem. What do they do?
Well, you're definitely going to have to get a treatment, but first you would need an evaluation, and that's what working with an engineer as well as an entomologist, you're able to assess the damage. Okay. A normal certified termite inspector cannot assess damage.
So where do they start, usually?
Where do they start? Depends on the type. As I said, there's many different types. So let's talk about this. What's the number one type here in Arizona termite that we have? Oh, your realtors out there are going to know this one for sure if we had a quiz on there.
I would love that. Let's do that one time.
Open one? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Subterranean is generally the one we find most commonly here in the desert Southwest.
Okay.
And so you asked earlier, how do we know that they're there? Generally, we're going to see along the stem wall or along other plumbing areas or areas where there's moisture, we're going to see termite tubes, mud tubes. And Matt can talk a little more about that.
I want to talk about mud tubes. I don't think I ever have on my show. Go ahead.
There's a number of different shelter tubes. Some are foraging tubes, some are feeding tubes, some are satellite tubes. They can come from the soil, they can come out of your ceiling, but they originate from the soil. The termites, unless there's a moisture condition, actually exist and the colony live in the soil.
So that's a really cool, what I was thinking. How did they start in the first place? How do can you prevent them?
Preventative-wise would be through treatment.
Okay. Which having that done every month or something like that?
Not every month. The chemicals will last generally, depending on the quantity you put down and the amount you put down, will generally last a year or two.
Okay.
For efficacy.
Uh-huh. All right, well, let me give some information out because you're valley-wide. You're rated with the Better Business Bureau.
I am.
And you're insured. Your website is Engineering Home Inspections with an S. Their phone number is 480-341-2664. And I want to also get out how you are one of the only engineers that also does inspections here in Arizona, and you've been doing it a long time. Go ahead.
Almost 25 years,
Yeah.
and yes, to my knowledge, we talked about that there are very few, if any, that are like myself, engineering as well as home inspection.
Well, we've got our lines open here for people if you want to call in and ask about your homes, and if you might have termites. They're here to answer your questions if you'd like. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. I like this question over here that you have. What happens, let's say somebody is about to buy a house and they go in and you do this inspection and sure enough they're being chopped up by, the house is being chopped up by termites, right? Do they have to worry about it? Should they put off buying it? How does that work?
Well, the evaluation process coming from the home inspection with the engineering inspection, looking for structural damage, is one thing. Another thing would be what type of termites do we have. It's not just a termite inspection, it's actually a wood-destroying insect inspection, which would involve carpenter bees, carpenter ants, drywood termites, and I can go on and on and on. There's quite a few insects involved in an inspection. So that's going to determine, we were talking about subterranean termites. The species that we have here mostly is heterotermes. The good news is they don't do structural damage very quickly. They do forage, and there are a lot of colonies throughout the desert. So we're building our homes in that in their
right
in their
in
area,
their favorite
in their
place.
environment. Yes.
Yes. Now you also are running a special right now, Michael. You want to tell everybody what it is?
Sure thing. To your loyal listeners, anyone that calls in and wants a home inspection, we're going to discount it $50 for homes under 2,500 square feet, $75 for homes under 4,000 square feet, and for those over 4,000 square feet, $100 off.
Now his phone number to call direct, it's 480-341-2664. They are a valley-wide. You could check them out on their website. It is Engineering Home Inspections with an S.com. They're rated with the Better Business Bureau. They are insured. And today we're talking a little bit about termites. Is this also for buyer and seller, right? There's a two-sider on this, right?
Yes.
So explain that before we go to a break.
Sure. Generally, the buyer is who's interested in knowing if the home has them. Of course, the seller is going to want to know because generally, and that as that transaction goes, the seller is going to be asked to get rid of the termites prior to the home being occupied.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, we all have them. I know we know it, and we hear them in the night, and it's awful. And even if we don't, if you've been living in your home for a long time and you haven't had it inspected, you absolutely know it's possibly happening. So give them a call. Their number is 480-341-2664. They're valley-wide, rated with the Better Business Bureau, and insured. It's Engineering Home Inspections with an S.com. Call in here and ask your questions. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Welcome back, everyone. And we are talking about termites right now today a little bit with Michael Weinberg. He's the owner of Exceptional Engineering Home Inspections. And he also has with him, well, I'm going to call him Sergeant SWAT, and he is the owner of Bug Warrior. And we're talking about, home inspections. For anyone that didn't hear, that are just tuning in, explain to them what makes you so different and what you do.
Sure. A couple of things. It's that I'm an engineer as well as a home inspector. That's the first one off the top. And the fact that I'm one-stop shop, all of those things, the engineering, the home inspection, and then, of course, I do the termite inspection as well.
And
that's where I partner with Matt.
And you're one of the only ones in Arizona that does do this. That's an engineer as well as doing the inspections.
That's
now,
correct.
when we were at the break, we were talking a little bit about something that is really important. Termite treatments, are they all the same?
Well, that's kind of the general census, but it couldn't be farther from the truth. There's a number of different products available to us, and understanding how those work is very important. But more importantly is the understanding the construction. And that's one of the things, working with a home inspector that's an engineer, understanding construction. I've been doing this for 30 years as well, and that has a lot to do with the treatment being done properly.
Now, we have our lines open here for people to call in and talk about their homes, their inspections. You might be a buyer or a seller. We want to talk. He's here to answer them. You can call in and ask a question if you want right here on air, or you can call him direct. Our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll-free it's 1-866-536-1100. They are valley-wide. They are rated with the Better Business Bureau and insured. Their website, I'm just going to use this one, is Engineering Home Inspections with an S.com. You can call them direct too, and you're doing a special. What's your special that you're running right now?
The special is for a home inspection, $50 off for homes under 2,500 square feet. For homes under 4,000 or between 2,500 and 4,000, $75 off, and $100 off homes over 4,000 square feet.
So it's a great special that you're running also for everybody that's listening to this show. You can call them direct at 480-341-2664, or call in and ask a question. They're here to answer. I know you're going to have a show one day on a Saturday morning. It's going to be something like that.
Sounds good.
Where you have one and you're just talking about. Absolutely. So you also were telling me that it's very important that people who are getting VA loans, they need to have these things. Am I correct on that?
That's right. Matt alluded to the difference in the treatments, and that having the structural engineer know the difference in foundations. For instance, post-tension, floating slab, keyed foundation, all sorts of these things go into what type of treatment. And that treatment has to be remedied or taken care of prior to the loan closing, which is why it's so crucial to the inspection process. And if people are opting not to have a termite inspection, I don't know why they would. But
do people opt not to?
For the ones that aren't FHA or VA, sometimes do, or cash buyers, but in reality they should, because it's a great opportunity to know what's going on with the home. As I said, I always like to give people the eyes wide open opportunity.
Absolutely. Let's say somebody you've gone. What's the worst house you've ever gone into where you said, "Look, we have to restructure the whole entire this or whatever"? Have you ever had that?
Matt's of course seen the report. I went into one. Yes, I went into the closet and I thought to myself, my goodness, when's the last time this person has been in their closet? They had a tube or a mud tube that was coming out and extended the length of my hand, 8 inches from the ceiling down to where the first shelf touches.
Wow.
And so, of course, that's a little different than just exposure to termites.
You got to look in your closets, ladies and gentlemen. It's very important. Go ahead.
That was the worst one. So then I had to go up, and then, of course, we talk about subterranean. This was subterranean variety, but they had an extended time up there without treatment, so we had to do truss repair work because they had a time to feed on the truss members, bottom cord, web members, top cord.
Wow. So I was just going to say, you said a lot of us do not look at in our closets, for years, right? We have lots of places, attics, I don't know where else.
Attic for sure.
They don't necessarily start in one area where you say usually they're here. You said around the plumbing, right?
Plumbing's a common place. Yeah, plumbing has a moisture condition that's
but closets, they're looking for stuff. What?
They're searching for more. Searching for more food, searching for more moisture.
Maybe they've gone into the top and now they're going inside, right? Is that what it is?
Generally, the access from underneath, right?
Oh,
it's from the soil up through, in between the drywall, back behind the walls, up and into the attic, just foraging away.
Well, they're really a pest.
Yes.
So, right. How easy it is to get rid of them?
It's not easy to get rid of them, honestly.
So what's the process again?
It's a full evaluation as far as the construction, what type of species you have, what's the best product for the application. All of those things go into consideration. the foundation has a lot to do with it. What type of foundation? As Michael mentioned, there's quite a few different foundations that we have here in the Phoenix metro area.
And tell them about your reports that you give them, because, Michael this is just not no regular home inspector.
Not a regular home inspector. Not
so
at all.
Explain to them what they get when they work with you.
That engineering expertise will lend itself in the Binzer process to having a list of items that not only note any deficiencies, but they're going to talk about whether it is a DIY repair, whether I recommend you do that on a Saturday with a buddy, or if you need professional help, or if it could be done by a semi-skilled labor. So all of that goes into the inspection report. I talk about what the problem is, I identify what are some typical solutions, I give them an estimate of the rough costs, whether you're doing it DIY for just materials only, or what it would cost for a professional to do that, and so that people can save money where they can, because I try to do that so that they can spend the money where it's appropriate and best suited.
Wow, it's awesome what you do. You can check him out on his website, which I love. It is Engineering Home Inspections with an S.com. They are valley-wide. They're rated with the Better Business Bureau and insured. He's one of the only inspectors that is also an engineer as well. And you are also, because he works with only professionals, you're also a professional. You've been doing this for 30 years. Is basically you do mostly just termite or anything?
I'm an expert in all those fields of urban entomology. There's basically 8,000 certified technicians in Arizona. There's only 20 of us that are certified entomologists.
Wow, that's interesting. And so again, people, when they should call you, well, first of all, let's talk about the difference, because you work with both buyers and sellers.
That's right.
So let's talk a little bit about when they should call.
Should call if they're planning to list. They might want to know how much they're going to get for the home, so I can tell them what's wrong or what may need fixed or what is likely to show up on an inspection report. So sellers are planning to list. And we're coming up on the end of the year, right? All the kids are out of school. Everyone's ready to move now. So call me before you're ready to move or list, and I can tell you what's wrong, or if you're planning to buy.
That number is 480-341-2664. They're valley-wide, rated with the Better Business Bureau. He's insured, and the website is Engineering Home Inspections with an S.com. And then, of course, you also do anybody they should know whether they are going to have their termites treated. Let's say they're going to sell their home and they're going to list it, okay, best off for them to take care of that, or to put it into the sale of the house? What do you when they see they have a problem?
Of course, they'd want to take care of that in advance.
I would think so too, because otherwise you don't want it.
Yes, peace of mind.
I don't want that. I'll take another one.
To have peace of mind, exactly.
Right. What would be your final words for everybody out there?
That you need qualified inspectors. There's a lot of different inspectors out there. There's very few experts. Having an engineering background that Michael has and working with me as an entomologist, it's not just termites. It's also bed bugs. It's all of those things that can happen in a real estate transaction. So I think having a one-stop shop that you know that you have all the experts that are available to you for a transaction of that type is A1.
Absolutely. It makes everything go smoother, and it makes you get maybe possibly more money, right?
For them. Saves them money, right? Economies of scale. Having it be one-stop shop is. And as you said before, if it makes sense, it just makes sense.
Exactly. Is that what I said?
You did.
I say them all. I come up with some doozies. You could check them out on their website. Is Engineering Home Inspections with an S.com. They're valley-wide. And tell them your special that you're running again.
Again, $50 off. Homes under 2,500 square feet. Between 2,500 and 4,000 square feet, $75 off. And over 4,000 square feet, which is the typical market that I perform in, $100 off.
And the number to call, again, him direct, it's 480-341-2664. Tell him right now, because you're going to be putting your house that's right. What did you just say about their kids are going on?
Kids are out of school, so it's a busy time. Everyone's going to be planning to list, so time for me to look at your home.
And if you're a real estate agent out there, you want him on your side.
Absolutely, because of the one-stop shop.
The number to call again, 480-341-2664. They're valley-wide. They're rated with the Better Business Bureau and insured. He's one of the only inspectors that also is an engineer. I should have said it the other way, because really you're an engineer who happens to also be an excellent inspector as well. And everything he does is top-notch. Everyone he works with is top-notch. And so, we have to call him Sergeant SWAT. He's also top-notch with bug warriors. And you don't want to have termites, so give him a call. Have it checked out. It's important to do, especially if you're getting a VA loan. The number to call again, it's 480-341-2664.